Okay, so you're back with us for another deep dive, and you're here because you get, the world's changing fast, and you've got to lead differently today.
Yeah.
So we're diving into a big one, like a question that's probably been kind of nagging at you in the back of your mind
Hmm.
as you're, building your business online, connecting with people.
Yeah.
Are we like living in a digital feudal age?
Ooh, that's a good one, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, it really makes you think because we're all out there. We're building our brands online, we're
Yeah.
connecting with audiences, maybe even running our whole businesses on these platforms.
Right.
But then there's that voice that says, like, wait a minute, do I actually own any of this?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. How much control do we really have?
Yeah.
And that's the heart of it, right? This whole idea of techno-feudalism.
Right.
It's like these tech giants, the platforms we use every single day, they're like the lords of this digital world.
Yeah.
They own the infrastructure, the algorithms, and it often feels like they're taking the biggest slice of the pie.
They do.
You pour your heart and soul into building something.
Yeah.
But are you really the one calling the shots?
Yeah, you're building on rented land, right?
Exactly. It's like setting up shop in this like amazing bustling marketplace.
Right.
But you don't actually own the stall.
Yeah, and they can raise the rent anytime they want.
Oh, yeah, or close down your whole corner.
Exactly.
We've all seen it happen, right?
Yeah.
Those algorithm updates that come out of nowhere, and suddenly your reach is gone. Like all that hard work just poof, vanished.
You're invisible.
Yeah, and it's unsettling.
Yeah, can be really unnerving.
Absolutely. And then think about the way value is extracted, right? The platform fees,
Right.
the data they're collecting, the advertising revenue. It all seems to benefit the platform.
Yeah, where's the balance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Are we getting a fair return on our investment?
And are the benefits even worth it anymore?
And that's a huge question for leaders, right? You're responsible for budgets, for ROI. If they're pouring resources into a platform where the returns are totally unpredictable,
Right.
you have to at least question it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basic risk management.
Exactly. And then there's this whole thing about platform lock-in,
Oh, that's a big one.
right? The more you build up on one platform, your content, your campaigns, your community, the harder it is to leave.
Right, it's like the Hotel California of the internet.
Right. And the cost of switching, you lose your audience, your investments, everything's disrupted.
Yeah, it can feel insurmountable.
Yeah. So for leaders, this lack of flexibility is a really big strategic vulnerability.
Absolutely, it can hamstring you down the line.
So techno-feudalism, it's like we're in this digital landscape dominated by a few powerful players.
Yeah, and we're all just kind of scrambling around trying to make it work.
But there is another side to this story, right? Where do leaders find the opportunities?
Right. Well, the good news is the digital world has made it so much easier for people to get started. You can build a brand, monetize your skills incredibly fast, and the startup costs are relatively low.
That's true.
So it's a dynamic environment. New trends pop up all the time.
Yeah.
And sharp leaders can really capitalize on that.
Right. And maybe even use the big platforms strategically.
Exactly. You don't have to be a victim of the system.
Right. It's not a completely one-sided thing.
No.
I mean, with these platforms, for all their power, they need creators and businesses and users to stay relevant.
That's right. They need us just as much as we need them.
So that interdependence can be a source of leverage if you understand it.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power in this game.
For sure. And the ways to make money online are always expanding. It's not just about platform ad revenue anymore.
Right.
We're seeing this surge in subscription models like Patreon Substack. You can build direct recurring income, cultivate a dedicated community around your expertise.
Right. And it's a much more stable income stream.
Yeah. And what about going direct to consumer?
Oh, yeah. It's huge.
Email lists, building your own website.
You own those relationships. No algorithm can take them away from you.
That feels like a real game changer.
It is. It's about taking back control of your connection with your audience.
Absolutely. And then you've got all these specialized marketplaces popping up outside of the big tech world.
Right. Etsy, Gumroad, Ko-Fi, all kinds of interesting platforms.
Yeah, catering to specific niches, offering different ways to connect and sell.
It's a much more diverse landscape than it used to be.
And the key takeaway is diversification, right?
Absolutely. The more you diversify your revenue streams and your audience touch points, the less vulnerable you are to the whims of any single platform.
So adaptability and diversification, those are the keys to thriving in this digital age.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Now, you mentioned that this experience of techno-feudalism isn't the same for everyone.
Right.
How does it differ for various players?
Well, it's fascinating to see the spectrum of experiences.
Hmm.
For smaller creators, freelancers, independent businesses, it can feel very much like a feudal arrangement. They're constantly at the mercy of algorithm changes and platform fees.
Right.
Their efforts often seem to disproportionately benefit the platforms they rely on.
It's like they're on this treadmill just trying to stay visible.
Exactly, chasing that algorithm.
But then you look at major brands,
Hmm.
big corporations, high-earning influencers.
Right.
It's a different story.
You have much more leverage.
Yeah, their scale,
Mm.
their negotiating power,
Hmm.
they can implement direct monetization strategies.
Right, they're not as dependent on a single platform.
So back to our original question, is this really techno-feudalism, or is it just a really centralized form of capitalism?
Yeah, it's complex, right?
It's nuanced.
There are definitely aspects that feel exploitative, but it's not a completely closed system.
Mm-hmm.
There are still opportunities for strategic maneuvering and success.
And that brings us to a really crucial point for leaders, right? The difference between being a digital serf
Right.
and being a digital strategist.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. So what makes a digital strategist different?
Well, a digital strategist understands how these ecosystems work. They recognize the power dynamics where the leverage lies.
Yeah.
And they understand the limitations of building exclusively within those walled gardens.
Okay.
They're also adaptable. They can adjust to the constantly changing rules.
So it's about being informed, not passive.
Exactly. But most importantly, a digital strategist actively works to maintain control.
Control over what specifically?
Their visibility, their ownership of content and audience connections, their revenue streams.
So they don't just rely on the platforms for those critical functions.
Exactly. They're building their own infrastructure.
So for everyone listening, that's the big takeaway. It's about moving from dependence to proactive control.
I love that. Yeah. From passive to active.
And that leads us to the actionable strategies. What can leaders do right now?
Okay. So the first and most crucial strategy is to own your platform.
Okay.
Move beyond just renting your audience.
And how do we do that?
The cornerstone is building a strong email list. Right.
Your email list is the only audience you truly own.
Mm-hmm.
It's a direct line of communication, no algorithms, no policy changes.
Yeah, it makes sense in this world of endless social media feeds. Email is much more direct and personal.
Absolutely. It's a way to cut through the noise.
Okay, so building an email list, that's step one. What's next?
Build or enhance your own website or blog.
Right.
It's your home online. You control the narrative, the user experience, and capture direct leads through various methods beyond social media.
So downloadable content, webinars, things like that.
Or offer value and build those direct relationships.
So laying that independent foundation, that's step one. What's the next move?
Diversify how you make money, go beyond the big tech platforms.
Okay.
Explore direct sale platforms like Gumroad, Shopify, Etsy. Sell your products or services directly to your audience.
Right.
Consider building paid communities through Patreon, Discord, Substack.
Right.
Foster deeper engagement. Generate predictable recurring revenue.
Yeah, those recurring revenue streams are so important. They are. And think about packaging your expertise into digital products, courses, templates, ebooks.
Right.
Sell those directly to your audience.
It's about creating multiple income streams that aren't tied to platform algorithms or ad revenue sharing.
Exactly. It's about building resilience and financial independence.
Love it. Okay, what else?
The third strategy we'll call algorithm proofing.
Okay.
Building a digital presence that's more robust and less vulnerable to platform shifts.
Right.
Diversify your presence across multiple platforms.
So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Different platforms serve different purposes, reach different audiences.
Makes sense.
Invest in content strategies optimized for search engines, SEO.
Right.
That gives you long-term organic discoverability.
So you're not reliant on the fickle nature of social media.
Exactly. And for a more advanced approach, explore Boolean search tactics.
Boolean search tactics.
Yeah, it's about using specific keyword combinations to proactively identify emerging trends and opportunities.
So being proactive and understanding the broader digital landscape.
Yeah, and positioning yourself strategically for sustainable growth.
Okay, so that's for individuals. What about larger organizations?
For enterprises, the stakes are higher, and so are the opportunities. They should invest in their own audience analytics.
Right, so not just relying on platform data.
Exactly. Get
Yeah.
those deeper, more independent insights into their customer base.
Okay.
Build AI-powered personalization tools
Right.
so they can own a richer understanding of their customers' needs and preferences.
Instead of outsourcing that to the platforms.
Exactly. And shift advertising budgets towards hybrid strategies.
Okay.
Combine direct engagement with targeted paid social media.
So it's about investing in the infrastructure and the intelligence for a more direct connection with their audience.
Exactly. It's about owning that relationship.
So we come back to that central question. Are we digital serfs or are we digital strategists?
Right. The choice is ours.
It really is. And
Yeah.
your influence, your success, it depends on the choices you make.
It does. You have to decide what kind of digital future you want to create.
And it makes you think about your own industry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where are these dynamics of techno-feudalism playing out? Have you felt that tightening grip of platform control?
It's a question every leader needs to ask themselves.
And remember that image we talked about, the fragile pieces and the unheld potential?
Right?
It raises the question, do you truly own your digital influence?
Or are you just handing it over to the platforms?
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
So here's your challenge for today. Think about where you and your organization stand right now. What can you realistically implement to gain greater digital independence and strategic control?
It's not about abandoning the platforms entirely.
Right.
It's about being more intentional, more strategic, more in command of your digital future.
So the question is, will you navigate as a digital serf or will you lead as a digital strategist?
What will your legacy be?
Let that question drive your next move. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Until next time.
We'll see you soon.